from Morning Church. This morning I just want to talk to you about Jeremiah 17 verses 5 through 8. And I really love this passage and I really want to share it with you. And it says this: "Thus says the Lord, cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes his flesh his strength, whose heart turns away from the Lord. He is like a shrub in the desert, and he shall not see any good come. He shall dwell in the parched places of the wilderness, in an uninhabited salt land. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. He is like a tree planted by the water, that sends out its roots by the stream, and does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves remain green, and it is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit." And I want to talk about trees this morning. A bit weird, I know. But I also just want to, before I get into verses 7 and 8, I just want to reflect on the fact, almost the loving warning of verses 5 and 6. That actually, cursed is the man who trusts in man. Sounds hard to hear. But actually, I think we need to hear it. That cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes his flesh his strength. That is a warning. There's no two ways about that. You can't read the blessed bit without reading the cursed bit. And you have to hear that warning and heed that warning. So that's why I've actually looked at verse 5 and 6 as well, because we need to hear that. However, on the other hand, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord. He's like a tree planted by water. And I've chosen this verse because God, these past few months, has really been teaching me to look at trees. And actually, I was out running a few months back when we had the couple of storms, one by one, and saw literally a million branches on the floor because they'd all been taken out by 2 consecutive storms. And actually, I was sort of running through this place and God just says to me, look at all these branches. I see that they have been destroyed. I see that they've been taken down. Look at all these trees. I have known them since they were a seed, and I've known every single branch that has grown on them, every single twig that has grown on them, and I've seen every one of those either snap off or bloom. And then he kind of just went, so how much do you think I know you? And in the same way, I was talking to a friend and a mentor a couple of weeks back, and I was almost sharing this sort of thing with him, and he just went, well, that's interesting because I look at the roots. And actually, in the hard times, the growth that you don't see is the roots. Yet, in winter, trees don't grow up, they grow down. They firm their roots. So looking at this in context with our passage, we need to be people who send our roots out by the stream. If this is a hard time for us, let's not try and strive and grow the things that people can see. Why don't we aim to grow the things that people can't see? Why don't we aim to grow our time and our devotion to God in a secret place, where actually our roots are strengthened, not our leaves? And that may be hard, and it may look like there's absolutely no growth whatsoever, but that's exactly how it looks. That's exactly how it's meant to look. That it doesn't look like there's any growth whatsoever, but then when actually this season is over, you start to bear fruit. And actually, when you grow your roots like that, then comes another season of drought, and it says here, it is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit. So if we have our roots firmly planted in God, if we actually venture into that secret place intending to grow in God where other people can't see, we will bear fruit even in the year of drought. And I just want to leave you with that today. Have an awesome day, and I hope to see you really soon. All right, bye.